Good morning, everybody. I am Master Jie. I'm very grateful to everyone. I can share and learn with you here. Today, I would like to share a volunteer story about Chai Quan. Sister Chai Quan, the most elderly Bodhisattva among the disciples of Master. She is 100 years old in this year. Sister Quan is a person of bright personality and resolute will, who devotes herself in study, charity, and also her profession in midwifery. Her husband passed away when she was 34. Midwifery was busy and challenging, yet Sister Guan managed to deliver up to 40 births a month, more than 2,000 births her career. To support her and her 4 children's lives, bring out 4 kids single-handed despite her own difficulties. She nevertheless provided consolation, encouragement, and even nutritional supplements to financially suffer mothers who have just newly given birth, which greatly helped the mothers and babies in the most tender way. Her kids who have grown up and have steady jobs by the time she reached 60 had seen what hard work was involved in her vocation, and they hoped her not to work anymore. She thought maybe her kids are right. She had worked hard for so many years. It is time for her to take it easy and enjoy life. For 10 years after that, she did a lot of traveling around the world. One day, when she was in her late 60s, her friends showed her the Tzu Chi money magazine. She was surprised about the Buddhist nun in Hualien, Eastern Taiwan, who was very committed to helping the needy. When she received the Jing above, she saw how the nuns work in the fields and did handiwork to support themselves. In addition to working hard for their own livelihood, they did their best to help the needy. She is a very active volunteer in the mission of Tzu Chi, such as charity, medicine, and environmental protection. I can feel her job feeling in her heart, welcoming smile shining on her face, cordiality connecting her to people around who love, like, and respect her. She walked on a path to a Tzu Chi volunteer, a path that people near her were also happy to tread on and follow her steps to be Tzu Chi member. In addition to her gentle mind, she also has a healthy body result from daily exercising. In short, she is a well-balanced mentally as well as physically. Video collection of donations sometimes could not be accomplished without a long bus ride, a trek under the burning sun, or the luck that the Tzu Chi member who donated was at home. The more she defied all the odds with joyful mood, the more she was admired by Tzu Chi member, who in turn enjoyed interaction with her no less as an elderly family members of their own. It was this interaction in Tzu Chi made her life healthy and happy. There was a time when she served as a hospital volunteer that she mistaken a logbook. The event tracked her in shell-lock, sickness, and lack of confidence. Words from another volunteer point out to her that no Bodhisattva ever gives up over tiny obstacles on the ever extending Bodhisattva path. The very loving speech injected in her courage and urged her to be more careful. This event demonstrated her willingness in reflecting her own mistakes. Even by the initiative of a younger peer, it is worthy to learn from her example. She has once contacted an elderly about her age. The elderly was lonely, abandoned by her children. She locked herself in her house due to her bad temper. When volunteers visit her, she scolds and threw things at them. To tackle this situation, Chai Kwan never gave up. Sister Chai Kwan constantly brought gifts and advised her and kept her company for around 3 years. They become like sisters each other. I think Sister Chai Kwan like a never-striking Bodhisattva. She never gives up to help and transform people's habitual tendency. Even she was told by our dear lesbians, yet still gives up herself to respect and concern the people that she is cared for. She believes her action will touch their heart. When she was 93, she supported Master's idea to save on paper by changing from paper donation booklets to digital books. Despite her declined memory and limited Chinese characters, she never gave up and studied hard to learn computer. After year learning, she overcame difficulties, so I could say she is our role model that is saying living and learning into old age. She gets out early every morning and goes to the local Tzu Chi office to attend the Master Daily Dharma talk. Via video conferencing, she often forgets what the Master just said a few minutes earlier. Even if she remembers only one sentence a day, she takes it to heart and put it into the practice. I can feel she enjoys doing the recycling and always form good relations with other volunteers. People like her very much as having an invaluable treasure in hand. She really enjoys volunteering. Sometimes she calls the volunteer in charge and asks them not to pass her by just because she's old. Many older volunteers often share their worries with her. They are afraid of falling ill and losing the ability to take care of themselves. She tells them illness is hard to avoid and they should visit doctor if they get sick. She encouraged them to think positively and refrain from complaining, which lead an active and healthy lifestyle. She says she wants to live as fully and meaningful as she can, so that she will not have any regret. She always tries her best to stay as healthy as she can, so that she can do more to help others. For her, every second that she lives is another second gain. The chapter 20 of Lotus Sutra, this monk did not devote time to reading or reciting the scriptures, but simply went about bowing to people. This is as like Chai Kwan was truly lights up the Bodhisattva spring. Thanks for listening. This is my sharing today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Huang. Okay, after listening to our Master Tzu Chi sharing about the volunteer Chai Kwan, actually, what do you think of this volunteer? Actually, for me, I think as like the movie saying that she's went to do recycling and people were asking why you want to do that, and they will blame the son, the children that why you about your mother to do this such things. And this is remind me that when I read a book regarding our Sangha master, during when master was she's still in the children age, her parent, her mother, who was diagnosed, who was get sick and going to have a big operation. And during the time, it's very dangerous. So our master should make a vow if her mother could not if her mother were not going to have operation, she's going to shorten her lifespan for 12 years. And master says she also want to take as a vegetarian. So, but luckily, finally, her mother is getting recover soon, automatically, and without doing any surgical operation. And this is, I think maybe all of you may know this story, but what I get surprised was there's another story behind. When Master Sangha, they received their granny, their grandma, a call, ask their whole family come back to the hometown. They're going to thanks to the Bodhisattva 还菩萨愿. So and Sharon, the mother and her father, they are went home to the hometown. On the way, when they're going to reach their home, and Sharon, during she's still young, she's a kid, and she pointed out inside the car and saying, hey, she saw the granny, the grandma, who are wearing like a beggar, the very dirty clothes, and like collecting money from the strangers in the street. And her father also get down the car and go and see what happening to their mother, and why she need to beg the money from strangers in the street. And Sharon, master also, she went down and asked Granny, oh, why you want to do that? And her Granny say, you don't ask this question first, and let me complete this task. So finally, after her Granny complete collecting, beg the money from the strangers in the street, after some time, and she the money that she collect, and she went to buy fruits and some offering materials to the Buddha. So then her Granny say why she want to do that is just because she make a vow when her daughter-in-law, who was sick and going to having a big operation, and her mother-in-law, the Granny, she also make a vow, if my daughter-in-law would recover without doing operation, I'm willing to be a beggar and to beg the money or something that I will give back to the Buddha as to feedback my vows, 就还我的愿. So from that on, our master, she's so as a children, but she think that as well as how big is your vow and how you will achieve. So when 愿有多大，力有多大. How big is it? How great is your vow and how the stretching you will. Yeah, this is what master learned from this, and until now, master always say, don't forget to make a vow, and for not just benefiting ourselves, but to other people, to benefit others. So as well as you have this great stretching, a great vow, you will have a unlimited, ultimately a very great strength power will carry on, help you to bring up what you want. So this is, I think, same to our Chai Kwan Siji. I think because she have a vow and she want to keep doing as well, she's still healthy. So until now, even though the movie that you saw was 3 years ago, but she, like Master said, she's 101 years old now. So yet she still can do the Tzu Chi missions work. This is incredible that she has this kind of spirit, and truly is a role model for everyone. Yeah. So, and I think I heard that is today is our sister Sharon from Australia going to share. So maybe we'll pass on this time to her, and so that she can share more about it. Yeah, thank you.
Over to Sister Sharon. Yeah, last Saturday we have heard from Brother Robert, the Huang brother. Now today, Sister Sharon. Sister Sharon, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Master India Board, brothers and sisters all around the world. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to everyone finally. I'm really impressed with the story of Sister Chai Kwan. And she's really truly lives out the Bodhisattva spirit. Let me just share my story. I joined Tzu Chi in 2016, I attended the entrepreneurship trip to Taiwan. I led a very normal, busy, and active life as a wife, mother with 4 children, and as an active volunteer as a G. I was very healthy, as you can see from the picture. I walk my dog every day. I walk basically 15 kilometers every day. While cancer can affect anyone, I never thought it would affect me. Right before Christmas 2016, the Australian Starson, which is a class program developed for autistic children, was holding a year-end annual Christmas celebration. My family and I were busy baking around 250 cupcakes for the party, and my Sheng Robert, as you can see, he dressed us as Santa Claus, taking photos with the kids and my children a day as well, and they were also helping in the event. I was with the Tzu Chi choir group, singing Christmas songs, entertaining the children and their families. It was really a great day. Right after the event, my daughter insisted that I go for a doctor checkup, as prior to that, she has started noticing lots of bruises on me. In fact, I knew it myself that I have bruises, and my mouth was bleeding, and the bruises are of appear at very odd places, not the common places, like it appear on my palm and my hand and so on. My mouth was bleeding, my nose was bleeding, and I had high temperature. I knew that I need to see the doctor, but because I was very busy, I just ignored it. You shouldn't do that. So I was booking to see the doctor on Monday, midday, and by 7 p.m., I was rushed to emergency. After some blood tests, my doctor confirmed that I had acute myeloid leukemia and said that I needed to start chemotherapy right away. Overnight, my life completely changed. My doctor couldn't believe that I could even attend the Christmas event the day before, considering that my platelets, neutrophils were all down to almost zero. I could have easily caught an infection and or cold, and it would be very fatal. I guess to me, my strong mind and my determination of wanting to celebrate the Christmas events with all the children give me strength, give strength to me and my body to keep going. Straight after admission, I was not allowed to get out of bed, as doctors and nurses were worried that a single fall could be fatal. My doctor said if I had gone in a week later, I wouldn't have made it. Besides my Sheng and my 4 children, Tzu Chi family were the first to know of my diagnosis. From the very first day, Tzu Chi brothers and sisters have been supporting me and my family. They cooked for me and gave courage and support to my family. And they took turns to visit me. Those sick, I continuously encourage my Sheng Robert and my family to continue volunteering as Tzu Chi and do not stop just because I was sick. Because Master said, 要把握当下做该做的事, meaning that we must grab and do the work that needs to be done now and don't wait. So that was my daughter was helping as Tzu Chi. My battle with leukemia was a very hard one. Everything that could go wrong did, and every side effect that could eventuate I experienced. I was dealt with an early blow, learning that I had FLT3 acute myeloid leukemia, which is one of the most aggressive leukemia with poor survival skills. And my chances of survival at the time was only 10 to 15%. I went through 7 rounds of chemotherapy and a bone marrow transplant. I stayed more than 170 days at the hospital. There was me there. During my cancer journey, I was bleeding excessively. My nose was bleeding, my mouth was bleeding, and when I go to the toilet, all I see was blood. And it's blood coming out from everywhere. It's like my whole body was bleeding. 2 packets of blood in and 1 packet will be bled out. So it's blood in and blood out, and that was how it went. They were just those painful days. It turned out that I needed matching platelets. They found that only 5 registered blood donors in the whole New South Wales have my matching platelets. So my life was totally dependent on these 5 blood donors. I remember once when it was New Year's time, some of the blood donors were away and I was super sick. I couldn't even hold a glass. I was very weak. And they managed to find someone from Victoria with my matching platelet. I remember the nurse kept saying there, hang in there, Sharon, hang in there. We'll bring the platelets to you. And that night I waited by my bed and I wasn't allowed to get out of bed in case if I fall that I will be bleed to death. That's what the doctors say. So around 12 a.m., I know the helicopter arrived on the rooftop of the hospital, and I can hear the nurse ran to my room and shouted, "Sharon, Sharon, your blood arrived, your blood arrived." And that's how critical it was. I'm super grateful to them, and without their platelets, I wouldn't have been here today. And from that moment, I learned how important donating bloods are. Your 1 packet of blood can actually save a person's life. The cancer treatment made me feel really sick. It was terrible. My whole body was covered with rashes. My skin became tender, bumpy, irritated, and itchy. It's like allergic reactions to the chemotherapy. I felt really uncomfortable and sick from the treatment. As you can see, you could feel the itchiness but couldn't reach to stretch it. They applied dressing on me and wrapped me with hot towels every day to ease the discomfort. There was maybe the hot towels all wrapped up. I could still smile. I kept throwing up and my body weight dropped to only 39 kilos. No matter how hard I tried to eat, I couldn't, and my weight kept dropping every day. Doctors were concerned and worried, so they suggested tube feeding. It was uncomfortable as I could feel the tube in my throat, but at least they managed to get some nutrients back to my body to prevent me from further weight loss. I was tube fed the whole time during the treatment. This was a picture of me with all the tubes, oxygen, food, fat, medications, you name it. At this point, I was completely dependent on all these tubes. Through this all, I stayed strong, brave, positive, and kept on smiling. Because the first round of chemotherapy didn't work, meaning the cancer was still there. Now, if the cancer is not killed, you can't have bone marrow transplant. Doctors suggested that a combination of strong chemotherapy and maybe we should try trial drugs. And these trial drugs is not being tried in the New South Wales yet. I was the first in New South Wales to try out the trial drugs. At the time, I knew that my life was online. It wasn't quite a choice. I knew I needed to trust my doctor. But the doctors say that, you know, it can go either way. You know, your life could be saved, your life might not be. We don't guarantee anything. So I signed the paper, gave my consent to take the drugs. Knowing that my chance of survival was only 10 to 15%, and with so many setbacks, I was scared. But I knew that I needed to be brave and strong. Though sick, I have not forgotten Master's teaching. I continuously attending this Dharma class. I got my nurse's permission to attend the class every Saturday morning, and through that Dharma, I felt courage, peace, faith, and strength to carry on the battle. I know all Tzu Chi families from near and far pray for me, gave me the strength and courage to fight this sickness. On days when I felt too much pain to bear, thought of giving up, Tzu Chi families gave me the strength to overcome the pain and suffering. I am forever grateful to all of you. This is a picture of me with my kids celebrating my birthday. I celebrated my birthday, Christmas, and New Year at the ward at the hospital. Looking back now, I realize how incredibly strong my 4 children were to deal with me battling the treatment. Their daily hospital runs, their school exams, HSC and uni exams, plus their part-time work. This picture is me with Santa Claus and Elf. I was lying on the hospital bed, and yeah, this was Christmas time. And this another picture is me looking out through the window through Sydney Harbour Bridge where the fireworks being lighted. It was a New Year's Eve, I still remember. And it was my daughter who wheeled me there to watch the fireworks. And there's a picture of my family and my children who gave me all the support as well. With children aged 15 to 20 at that time, people had tried to comfort me that the kids were on their way to adulthood and would continue to flourish even if I was not around to see it. But that's not how I felt. To me, it's like planting a seed in the garden. You water the seed, you nurture the plants, you put in effort and love. Now the plant's growing. You see the leaves, and even if you don't water every day, the plant can still grow. But I want to see the plant flowering. It hasn't flowered yet. It hasn't blossomed. I want to see my kids blossom. I want to see them go to uni, graduate, get married, and so on. I remember it was New Year. It was New Year 2017, and I was still at the hospital. I haven't found a donor, and I was still going through chemotherapy. I applied for a few hour leave from my doctor to go back to Tzu Chi to wish Master's New Year and wish her well, and also wish all my Tzu Chi families a Happy New Year. It was so great for me to go back to meet everyone, though at that time I was, still sick. And there you go. This is the Tzu Chi Sydney. Everyone was waving to Master. I wish her a Happy New Year, and there was me behind there as well. After a few rounds of chemotherapy and trial drugs, they managed to kill the cancer. I was able to have a bone marrow transplant. I was very hopeful. Doctors and I are very confident that I should be able to find a donor. Then, these are the sisters who have been looking after me through that time. Then I received devastating news that despite a worldwide search of 30 million donors, there was no perfect match. This was a big setback because usually 1 to 100,000 you find a match. My doctor came in to tell me that I was very unique and rare. They couldn't find a perfect match for me. My last chance was my brother who lives in Malaysia, and the odds that he will be a match were very small. But after an agonizing 10 weeks waiting, we found out that he was. I cried and cried when my doctor told me that he was a match. I'm so grateful to my brother. He saved my life. That very moment, I also learned that your bone marrow can actually save a person's life. My brother and his family didn't know what's the procedure like about donating bone marrow, as there's a bit of a worry that will it affect the health or not. Tzu Chi Malaysia stepped in to help. They arranged someone from TMA to talk to my brother and to explain to him about the whole procedures. Thank you, Tzu Chi Malaysia. With new medical technology, donating bone marrow is not as scary and as risky as before. As you can see from this picture, it's just like donating blood. No drilling onto the bones. No drilling to the bones. My brother say he feels healthy and normal, and there's no side effect after donating the bone marrow. In every step of the treatment, if good outcome increases chances of survival, and if bad outcome decreases the chances of survival. And in my case, every step is kind of close to bad outcome, but miraculously, I managed to get through them all. it's like every step I have to go through the hard way before I can get good results. It was exhausting throughout the whole cancer journey. I want to give back. Giving back means a lot to me and my family. All my children sign up to become blood donor and bone marrow donor, and we encourage all their friends as well to sign up. Blood donor really do saves my lives. I need a blood transfusion virtually a few times a week just to stay alive. Donors literally gave me the gift of life. I will forever be grateful to them. And this is a picture of my daughter. She shaved her head to raise money for research. She raised 6,500 for the research, and there's her at the photo of her up there, and then there's me there. So we do look the same. And there's us, and trying to be happy and cheerful, put on makeup and put on a big smile, and 6 months after the transplant, this is a picture of me in the paper. Because it's quite a miracle that I survived the whole leukemia thing. They put my story in the magazine so that hopefully you can give hope and courage to other people that miracles can happen. So 6 months after my transplant, I started volunteering. I am now volunteering as a cancer companion, supporting other patients who needed support. I also volunteer for the Blood Buddies program at the Leukemia Foundation. It's a peer support program connecting those who are diagnosed with blood cancer with a trained volunteer who has had a blood cancer. I share my own experiences of how life changed for me, offer reassurance, encouragement, support, and hope to other patients. Every time before I leave the patient, I always leave a piece of Master's Jing aphorism to them, to give them love, help, clear their mind, and relieve their worries. I watched last week's sharing as well, and everyone was talking about Jing aphorism, and I said to myself, yep, that's me. I always share Jing aphorism with every single patient. And one of my favorite is that was being mentioned last week as well, is that do not lose courage. Do not lose faith. Nothing is impossible when you are determined. That is one of my favorite ones to use. And a lot of people do ask me, like, what do you say to the patients when you see them? What do you do? And to be honest, a lot of times I don't even need to say a lot. Just being there, give them hope. When they see me, they see hope. And when I hold their hands, often they cry because they think that, yep, they can do it too. You know, if I leave, there is a chance that they will live too. So, you know, so it is the hope. And for some Asians patient that I visited, I even share songs with them, and they really like it. You know, in our one of our Tzu Chi songs is the 温暖满人间, if you know the songs, which is very meaningful. When I sing to them, they cry. And the song is, I just quickly just say a few lyrics of it. Say, 当你伸出双手帮助别人的时候，生命中色不同，因为我们不再冷漠，感恩在今天，温暖满人间，让世界充满，让世界I'm just gonna say， 跟着我们改变，用爱画一个圆。The meaning of this song is like when you help others, and one day when you need help, the same hand is probably you probably hold at the same hand, the hand that once helped you before. So it's very meaningful. Anyway, I better go. Continue on. I also volunteer at the Red Cross. I dress up as Billy, the red blood drop. That's me inside this mascot here, going around hospitals encouraging people to donate blood. And if can, donate bone marrow. Who knows better than myself, who literally survived on donors' blood and bone marrow. So that's me with the at the hospital that treated me. If you remember just now, there was a picture of me lying on the bed when Santa and Elf arrived. during Christmas. And now this is a picture of me walking around with Santa and Elf, going around the leukemia ward. They give, cheering all the patients at the leukemia ward, giving them hope and love. I don't take things for granted. I feel lucky I'm still here alive and well. I continue volunteering at Tzu Chi and participated in most of the Tzu Chi activities. There's me with the Pink Ladies. Pink Ladies is are the ladies who go around the ward with the trolley, giving foods or newspapers to the patients. The hospital recognized my volunteering spirit, and this year on the Volunteer Appreciation Day, they invited me to speak on why I want to volunteer. I felt privileged to be given the opportunity to speak in front of hundreds of people while encouraging everyone to volunteer. Master say, 这爱是报恩, 付出是感恩. It's like selfless is repaying and giving is grateful. One of the patients that I visited, I remember he talked to me and he said that I never volunteered before and I never helped before. So, and I said, but if you want to volunteer, it's never too late to volunteer. You can even start tomorrow. And then he told me that, well, I don't have this love to give. And I told him, yes, you do. The fact that you sit here and listen to me and talk to me about me listening to my volunteering experience and that sort of thing, and you are interested, meaning that you actually have the heart to share with someone and to help to volunteer one day. So I'm encouraging people to, when they get better, they should come out and help others too. There's me with Tzu Chi, and we are at the Martin Place in the city, promoting vegetarian food, and also at the same time we're raising money for the African schools, the Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Mozambique. And this is me joining back the choir group, singing to patients at the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, at the cancer ward as well. I also sung and danced at the Royal North Shore Hospital, which is the hospital that treated me. This is a picture of me planting trees as part of our Tzu Chi activities in Sydney, in Australia, to save the planet. And yep, and with the group and me joining the patient class, making mooncakes to raise money. This next picture is special to me because this is a surgeon who helped cook for me and visited me at hospital. And now the two of them, you look at the two of us, I look very healthy there, and there's no sign of me being sick at all. And this is a picture of me helping with the free dental fair in Australia. Australia Tzu Chi provided to, which we provide free dental care to less fortunate people. This is the government educational conference at Tzu Chi Sydney, which was one, they only invited Tzu Chi to attend to promote recycling in the University of Technology Sydney, which is really good. I remember we were just showcase our Tzu Chi blanket, you know, telling everyone that 68 bottles turned into that blanket, and everyone was just so awed by it. And this is me last week. I went out raising funds for the bushfire victims in Australia. As everyone would have known, there's bushfires here in Australia due to global warming. So we are out there raising funds. This is my normal life now, spending quality time with my family and my dog. This picture taken, so this is us. My family is a big family, and this is my dog. And I made this 1,000 paper cranes and dedicated it to the doctors and nurses at the leukemia ward at my hospitals. And so they have a small party for me, and there's my doctor there and all the important nurses who look after me. My way of saying thank you to everyone who cared for me. And this is my happiest moment. I was able to attend the commissioning with my surgeon Robert and our whole group from Sydney here. 2 years ago, I wasn't sure I could do this, not knowing I'll live or not. But now the fact that I could go and see Master again, and I was just so close, standing close to Master, I felt the feeling that I had on that day, I just couldn't even say it. All I know that I was crying heaps. And this is the group of us, the Tzu Chi Australia, who went for the commissioning. And this is me with Tzu Chi Malaysian group. It was really, really good. I got to meet so many people from 26 countries. And this me standing next to the Shifu, and I was really, really happy. At last, I get to meet Shifus in Taiwan. And there's me again with, as you can see, very proud holding the Tzu Chi boat. And this picture is meaningful to me. This is our commissioning group team leader, and also my mommy. I like to call her my mommy, as she also took care of me when I was sick. She made the best food for me, and while I couldn't eat at the hospital. And there's a picture of me just being commissioned. I am very grateful to Master and my Tzu Chi families for supporting me throughout my cancer journey. I will forever carry out all my duties and responsibilities as a Tzu Chi commissioner to fulfill all 4 Tzu Chi missions. Remember the trial dogs I took? I was the first one to use in New South Wales. It saved my life, and now it has been approved by the government here in Australia to be used to save all other patients nationwide. And he has been approved by Medicaid Australia, meaning that the government will subsidize the cost of the drugs. I believe that there's a reason why I'm here today. Bodhisattva wants me to go through this pain and suffering so that I know what is life like, and by experiencing it myself, I can now come out to help others, to give them hope, to give them love, and hopefully relieving their sufferings. We should never underestimate our own abilities. All of us have the ability to help others. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Tzu Chi, and Kanan, everyone. Back to you now.
Okay. Thank you for Sister Sharon sharing. Yeah, it's true. I think just now, as you say, you have been go through a lot of obstacles and suffering during the time when you get sick of the leukemia, and you do the blood marrow transplantation as well. And I think only the people who go through the experience will have such a deep feeling. But I think it's just like a beauty, or a circle of the beauty. Since you are receive help from others, and now once you recover and you are giving back your your strength and your positive to the person who are still under the sick. And I think this is the good circulation for keep passing on the positive energy to those who are still struggling about their sickness. As you are now as a commissioner of the Tzu Chi Bamboo, so I think you already received, as just now I saw one of the picture that you're holding a Tzu Chi logo badge with the Ba Chuan, the Dharma shape of the logo badge. I think Master did mention that when we want to, from this soul, the suffering soul, to the other nirvana path, 此岸到彼岸, you have to go through by the analogies by using the Dharma shape. So Master say, if we want to get enlightened but without encounter any obstacles, or like 乘风破浪, or like we don't have the high ambitions, you will not able to attend the nirvana stage. So I think you have to go through 乘风破浪 to brave the wind and the billows. I think this is the idiom that I get from the online information. So I think 乘风破浪, so you already success to gain and you're healthy again. So I hope you keep passing on this, helping people, and to keep encourage people. And actually, recently, I know that our masters, still in Taipei. Xingdian Hospital, the Jingsi Tang. And because during over 10 days, Master was outside her trip, and as I know that sometimes and maybe recently, Master's quite frequently having a drip. She's having intravenous injection. She every day have to put on the injection and put on the drip every day to face people. And I heard once a time it was take 2.5 hours for the nurse to put to insert the needle to the muscle to get the what they call the intravenous infection, but it's unsuccess. And Master say because her blood couldn't withdraw the blood is it turned dry, so it took time for the nurse to do this skill. And yet Master still never give up. She still have a while, and she still want to assist her every moment. And she say if a little drip of the second pass by, she still want to assist the moment to meet her disciple who are carry on the Tzu Chi mission all around the world. And she just say, even though they want me to give them a sentence of the consolence, and to give them some advice, Master she's still willing to do. She will do that until the end of her life. So I think same to us, we must fully utilize our time. And only for those who, like you, who came across such a suffering, which is like we can't imagine. But I believe that once you go through, you will know the way how to turn the bad to good. Only you know, and you will have a great inspiration to people, because they listen to your sharing, they will get touching. Yeah, I think this is my feedback. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I think I pass the time to Sister Sharon in KL. Yeah, thank you.
Sister Sharon, truly a lot of inspiration. Yes, Huang Shifu, we really received your message and the story of Master. All of the disciples were promised to be diligent and keep doing Tzu Chi work. Master, do not worry. Today, we are very grateful because we hear a lot of inspiration stories, like Huang Shifu said, yeah, through all these trials and challenges, we could grow our wisdom with riding on this show of compassion with everyone, guided by Sharon and the Hualien Shifu, pure practitioners. We will continue bringing the sentient beings from shore of suffering to shore of liberation. Ka'en Pusa, brothers and sisters, for your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Dharma Master and Hualien love to our life. Let us please make 3 bows to the Buddha and Dharma Master as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to the teachers of life universal truth. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And about to beloved Shifu, Huang Shifu, for great guidance today. Ka'en everyone, Ka'en Pusa. See you around next Saturday. Ka'en very touching. Oh, keep trying.